Hello, my friends. This is Paul. Welcome back. I hope everyone is doing great and they're reading amazing books. So this is my channel. If you've never seen one of my videos before, I talk about books. I talk about other stuff too sometimes. First, let's get to the books. I remember what book I read that I mentioned that I forgot that I read it. It is How to Be Perfect by Michael Schur. And even though I forgot that I read it, I still really enjoyed the book. You would think that if I forgot I read something, that the book wasn't good, but it was good. It was about moral philosophy, ethical philosophy, and Michael Schur is the head writer, creator of The Good Place, and a lot of his research that he used for The Good Place is in this book. And it talks about a bunch of branches of ethical philosophy, and it covers certain great philosophers. Here's the thing. Philosophy and me don't really get along. It sometimes sounds like gibberish to me. And I have a very hard time remembering philosophy. So, this book was actually good for me because it is a very layman's view on ethical philosophy with real world examples that we could pull information from and use some of the philosophers' thoughts to figure out what they would actually do. So it talks about like universalism, essentialism. It talks about Ayn Rand's weird thing that she does, and a bunch of other stuff. And it was good. I enjoyed it. Can't really remember a whole lot about it, but I remember I liked it. Here's the thing. I just can't remember a whole lot from nonfiction books, and I probably should take notes. I probably should try to memorize quotes, but I don't. And it's such a large time sink to do those things, so I don't. I'd rather read more books than spend three times the length of time on one book. If that means I don't sound as intelligent as other people, so what? I don't care. But it was good. I enjoyed it. The thing I'm taking away the most from it is that even though someone is not religious, they can still have a very ethical mindset and do the right thing and use philosophy and ethics to figure out what the right thing to do is. You don't need to have an actual belief in a higher power to do the right thing, which was important to learn. Because when I was younger, I always thought that good people were people that had a belief in a higher being, and they would mold their life based off of the tenets in the Bible, for example. And I always thought, well, what reason does non-believers have for doing good things? Like, they just do whatever they want, right? But no, they don't. And people do ethical things because they want to be a good person. And that's what that book was about. So then I read, with audiobook, Bill Bryson, The Body. Loved it. And once again, it's a nonfiction book. It's an audiobook even. And I learned a ton about the human body. Could I tell you all the things that I learned? No, not at all. But I learned a lot. And it's interesting because I would be in these situations in real life where people were talking about maybe health, medicine, things like that. And then I kind of like remembered something from the book, and I was like, oh, I could say that, but I don't know for sure if that's 100% correct. Am I remembering that right? So I wouldn't say anything. So The Body by Bill Bryson was fantastic. I loved it. It went through like the skin, the brain, the heart, the lungs, breathing, sleeping, sex, feet, everything. Very cool. Learned a lot. It aged a little bit, and it's funny because it came out in 2019, and so you would think only 3 years ago. However, one big thing happened in the last 3 years, and that is COVID. And looking at this book through the eyes of someone that has gone through COVID, when he's talking about viruses and things, it was so interesting, and at the same time, it seemed like the book was so out of date because of that. And I think that as we learn more about medicine, health, and the body, that some of the things that he said in the book will be outdated even more. So it's very interesting. I should probably read a health book like this, a biology book like this, like once a year, just to keep up to date on things. That would probably be a good idea. But it was fantastic. I loved it. Listened to it a lot while I was at the gym. Okay, 2 physical books in the last week. We have a novella from Nicola Griffith. This is called Spear, and it was phenomenal. It is a Percival Arthurian retelling, and I think in this one, the main character is a woman, and her name is Pieter. I'm probably missaying that because I missay everyone's name and everything. But she grows up with her mother, and she is not like other humans. She ends up wanting to leave. She goes to Camelot, and there she meets Arthur, Gwen, and she finds out that the person that's Merlin, they have different names in this, so just go with me. Merlin is missing, and she meets a sorceress that has taken Merlin's place, Namu, and it's fantastic. She is attracted to women and has relationships with women, but she is pretending to be a man. So it's one of those type of stories where the woman wants to be a part of the soldiers, and she pretends to be a man. And I loved what Nicola Griffith did with these characters that everyone is so familiar with. She just turned a lot of the stories upside down, and I just loved her take on Arthur, Guinevere, and Lancelot. And then, of course, her take on Percival, the Holy Grail. And it was just really good, written really well. I'll probably nominate this for a Hugo Award because it was phenomenal. I also read The Book Eaters by Sunyi Dean. Now, this is a story about a group of beings that eat books for sustenance. And when they eat the books, they kind of absorb the knowledge in the books. They don't really read. They usually just eat the books and absorb the books, which would be kind of cool, I think. I don't know. It seems like it would. Anyways. But they can't write, which was interesting. They can't write anything, so they can't make their own books. They have to consume the books that other people write. And then there are groups within this group that are mind eaters. So you could either be born as a book eater or a mind eater. And the mind eater is someone that's like a mind fly who sucks the marrow, or it's not marrow, whatever, the symbiotic fluid. It's probably not even that. I'm saying the wrong words. I should have paid more attention to the body. Whatever gooey, liquidy stuff is in the brain, they suck it out of people. So the story follows our main character, Devin, as she is also gay. So that's 2 books where the main character is gay, and that's okay. That rhymes. And so she is one of the daughters, and her whole essence is to have children because the population of these beings is very small. So her daughter gets taken from her first daughter, and then she gets married again to someone else, and she has a son who is a mind eater, and they try to take the son away, but she ends up fleeing, killing her husband, and then taking her son and living a life outside of the bonds of their society. Later on, she then meets somebody that can help her get it's not a cure for the mind eater disease, but it allows the mind eaters to eat books as well. And so she meets this individual thinking that she is going to have a way to help her son. But as also her brother is a part of these knights that use these dragons, also known as the Mind Eaters, to control this society. There are different families, and it's all in England. And the world building was great. I felt like it was a little too simplistic. The idea of people having sustenance from eating books, it worked at some times, but other times I was just like, okay, this is kind of hokey. Whatever, I'll just go with it. The writing was decent. However, I wanted more emotion. I wanted to be more in the mind of Devon. And I felt like the book was lacking that personal connection with the characters that I really love in books. And I also feel that the plot was a little bit too linear, even though it does jump around from time frames to time frames. Like it would jump from when she would first became a part of the society to now in the present. But there just wasn't anything exciting in this book. It was just okay. But I still think a lot of people would probably like it. If the idea of the book really relates to you, the idea of a secret society with people that consume books and then people that consume brains, I guess, and that there are these knights and dragons that enforce all of this society, and there are families that are vying for power. If that all sounds interesting, you would probably like it. If you're like, you'll probably think it's kind of middle of the road like I did. So that's so those are the books I read. Other than that, things are going well. I rejoined the gym. I'm in my third week going. I've gone 2 weeks in a row, at least 5 days. 1 week I went 6, doing just a simple push-pull leg split. Having fun with that. I missed going to the gym. I would listen to so many audiobooks when I used to go to the gym. So now I'm back and I'm listening to audiobooks again. And I'm so excited about that. I've already listened to 2 of them in the 2 weeks that I've gone. That was the How to Be Perfect and The Body. And I'm trying to only listen to nonfiction while at the gym and as audiobooks, because I'm having a hard time with audiobooks with fiction. I can do nonfiction easier because if I'm not paying 100%, I'm not going to lose the entire plot or the trail of the book. Work as a librarian is going fine. It's fantastic. One of the things that I'm dealing with the most personally is knowing when to say something, have my opinion out there, and when not to say something and keep my opinion to myself. It's always something that I've always struggled with. And even though I'm 41 years old now, I still struggle with this because I am very much one extreme or the other. I'm either not saying any of my opinion or I'm giving my opinion about everything. And I don't want to be either one of that person. So I want to be kind of like in the middle. But things are going well, and I hope to be making more videos. So I am currently reading the newest Mistborn book, The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson, and I am enjoying it. It's definitely the book I needed to read right now because it is just a lot of fun and fluffy and fantasy that makes me smile and makes me think, and I love it. It's great. So I hope to read that. I'm listening to Untamed by Glenn Doyle, and it's a female empowerment book, and I'm liking that so far as well. So that's what's up with me. Let me know what is up with you. Talk to you all next week, hopefully. Hope everyone's having a great holiday during December. See you later.